So we're going to finish up the haiku page for the topic site. Again, you're going to write your haiku. You can find examples on the web. You can do just search for haiku examples, but I'd like you to try your best at writing your own. 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So here's what our page looks like right now just with the HTML. Again, it's all in sequential order, but it's not designed or laid out or anything. So we're going to go into the text wrangler, and this is what we have right now. Again, all of our HTML. Here's our H3 tag we put in. Here's our div called main that's holding everything. Then we have an image of a picture, and I gave it an ID name, mine called bake, which is the ID that I'll use in CSS to design it and lay it out. And then we created a div to hold the poem, and the div is called poem, so it's an ID name, so I'll put a number sign before the name I gave it to talk to it in CSS. I have an H4 tag, and then 3 paragraph tags all in a row that will make up the haiku. And then I have a little footer here that we'll just kind of color. So anyways, that's our HTML. Now we're going to go up to our CSS. Here is where you already have the body. Now I actually added a font face font for most of my text. So I have the file. Here's the file name. It's in the exact location as this web page. Again, that's so important. And then I gave it a font family name that I'll call to anytime I want to use this file to load a font on my page. I'll tell that text, heading, paragraph, whatever, unordered list, A tags, to be this font family. And once it sees this, it'll load this file. Okay, so we've got the body, we've got the nav, and right below here, we're going to put our cursor. I'm just below the A:hover, what we did. And we're going to start from there. So the first thing we're going to do is we have an H3 tag down there. And so we're going to say H3. And this is the title kind of our page. Mine says My Donut Haiku. And yours will say whatever you say. And I'm going to say font dash size colon. And we're going to use EM. Again, 1 EM is normal font size for an H3 tag, whatever that is. And we're going to say 4.5 EM. Notice how EM turns blue. And then we're going to give a color. Now mine, I'm basing it off of a color lover's color scheme. And mine is some weird number. 975683. Yours will be something you want to really, again, grab a color scheme that helps explain your topic. And then font family, font dash family. I can actually just go up here. Here's what I usually do. Make sure that I get it right. I'll highlight this. I'll copy it. I'll scroll down and just paste it here. And then there's one more thing. We're going to give it, I think, padding. Yeah, we're going to give padding. So padding is empty space inside an element. We're actually giving it 4 numbers. The first number is the top padding, so it's empty space above it. We're adding 10 pixels to that space. Then I'm going to hit the space bar, and we're going to have 0 on the right side, 0 on the bottom, and then on the left side, we're going to have 50. So it's going to move in 50 pixels on the left. But we're actually talking to each side, again, the top, the right, the bottom, and the left. Okay? And I'm going to save it. And I'll kind of show you what this looks like real quick here, hopefully. So that's what we just did. We just talked to the H3 tag, and I'm loading a font face. I know we've had some issues, but mainly it's from that one site. So I would say Font Squirrel is the way to go. And again, you want to find a font that really helps with your topic, whatever your topic is. Fonts can do a lot for stylizing and creating an experience on a page. So we have that. Go back. And the next thing we're going to do is we built that div called main. And a div called main is down there. So I use because it's a div ID name, I'm going to use a number sign before the word that I gave it. And we're going to design that box holding both this, the image and the paragraph. So we're going to give a width of 100%. That's going to be 100% of the body. Okay, now remember that the body only has a width of 85%. Okay, so it's going to take that 85% and basically make it span widthwise 100, all of that. So that's just to let you know. And then we're going to give it a margin. And again, we're going to deal, margin is outside an element. So we're going to create empty space outside of this box called main. The first number, again, 30px, that's the top above the box main. And then auto is going to be for the right side. And then 80 is going to be for the bottom. And then auto, again, is going to be for the left side. Now I could, have two numbers here. The first number would be the top and the bottom, and the second number or word would be for the left and the right. But I decided to kind of show you we can separate those out even more. This is for the top, this is for the right, this is for the bottom, and this is for the left. And notice that auto is for left and the right, and that means the computer will figure out where to place this so it's in the middle. Okay? And one more thing. We're going to align everything in the center. Anything that's in the main, we're going to align in the center. So there you go. Okay? So the next thing we're going to do is, let me save that. And again, just show you really quick. I'll update it. Not too much has changed. Nothing's floating yet or anything, so it's basically the same. All right. So we'll go back. Didn't do much there, but it will. Now we're going to talk to the image, and remember that the image, I gave it an ID name of bake down here. Right here. So I'm going to use number sign bake to talk to this image right here and do some things with it. Images can be kind of tricky in the fact that they're hard to align, and there's some tricks to kind of align them in the center. We're actually not going to align it in the center, but we're going to tell it to float left. So that's the word I use to talk to that image. And again, I did that because if we had other images, which we do, we have a banner, which is an image, and if I just said image, IMG, and talk to every image tag, it would talk to that banner also. So this way I'm separating out this specific image and giving it an ID name, and I can do things just with that ID name, just with that image, that particular image. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a width, a specific width of 500px, okay? And we're going to float it left. That's the big thing. That's going to create empty space on the right-hand side of it for the poem to come up. Then we're going to give it a border, and we're going to tell it to do different things on the border. We want it to be 7 pixels wide, the border. We want it to be a dotted border. So it's not going to be solid, it's going to be dotted. And then again, I grabbed a weird color. I think it's the same one. So 975683 is my color. Again, you'll have a different color. And then this is the cool thing. We're going to say a border radius. And the border radius is going to create rounded corners. So we're going to have a really intense rounded corner around our image, which will make our image look round. And it's going to be 185 pixels. Okay? So let me show you what that looks like here, right here. And I'll reload it. Okay? So let me just change it. So this is what it did. Again, it floated the image of the bacon donut to the left. That creates empty space for the poem to move up. And we also created this rounded border, rounded edge around it. Now, that's 185 pixels. Let me show you. I'll go back into my coding just for a second here. And let's bring that down to 65. So it was 185, and now it's 65. I just want to show you the difference. So there you go. So it's a little bit more square. You know, the higher the number, the rounder the corner. And you'll see in the poem, we'll get it actually to a circle. The circle really didn't work here because we lost the image. A lot of the image went when we circled this this picture when I tried it. So let me go back and I'll do Command Z, edit undo, and I'll save it. And now we're back to where we were right there. Okay, so we're done with the picture. And now we're going to talk to the poem. Now, the thing is with the poem, it's in a box called poem. And we're going to say, hey, poem, we want to talk to you, the whole box. And then we want to say, talk to the H4 tag just in the poem box. And then we want to talk to the P tag just in the poem box. Okay, so we're going to do a couple different things. And each time we'll say # poem space H4, # poem P. And it'll be specific just inside that div called poem. So let's go up here. I'll put my cursor. This is what we just did. I'm going to say # poem. And for the actual box, we're going to give it a width of 300 px. We're going to give it a background of a weird background. Again, ECD 7E4. Now, the thing is, I have to say background. There we go. Okay. And again, that's off the color scheme that I picked. It's going to have a border of 7px, same as the other one, dotted. And then #, the same thing. So I can actually, I'm going to grab those lines right there and just place them down there. And what I did with the poem was, instead of 185 pixels, I went, just to show you, I went with 195 pixels, and it'll make it completely circular, like a round circle. I'm going to give it a margin, and we're going to deal with, again, 4 numbers. 0 for the top, 0 for the right, 100 pixels for the bottom, and then 50 px for the left. Okay, which will create some empty space between the picture and the poem. And then padding, again, is inside. It's going to create some empty space inside that poem area. That will be circular. So this is going to be 50 px. Now, I had 2 numbers, 50 px and 50 px. It's basically 2 numbers. I can just, incorporate. If I'm going to do that, it's going to be all 50-50. Just put it once, and that means for every side it'll be 50 pixels. Okay, and then we're going to align everything inside the poem box to the center. And then we're going to float it left. And that gets rid of the empty space on the right-hand side. Okay, so if I save it and update it, you will see it's starting to come into place. Okay, so let's go back to the coding. Now we're going to talk to the H4 tag inside poem. So because we want to be specific, I'm going to say, hey, computer, there's something called poem down there, and there's an H4 tag inside of it. I want to talk to it, and this is what I want to do. I want to do this stuff to it. I'm going to say, grab our font family. I'll grab this line right here. And we're going to do that. So we're going to change the font family. We're going to change the font size to 2EM. And again, whatever paragraph, whatever H4 tag is normal, that's 1 EM. 2 EM is twice. And then we're going to say color, number sign, because we're using a hexadecimal color number. 9756838, 9756883. Okay. So again, let me save it. I'll update it. Okay, so it's starting to come into place. Now we're going to talk to the paragraph. So I'll go down here, and again, we're going to be specific. So we're going to say, hey computer, there's something called poem, again, down there, and there's a P tag inside that poem area. And this is what we're going to do just with that P tag inside poem. Font, again, we're font family. I'm going to grab these, paste them right here. The thing is, we're not going to have 2 EM. We're going to have 1.5 EM. And the color is, again, different. So it's CO92B2. 92B2. Okay, now you don't have to be capital like I did. It'll still read it. We're going to align the text center. Okay, and then we're going to get a margin dash left. Now your number might be different here because of the amount of text that you have. Might be different, the sizing, the width size. So margin dash left 35 pixels. So let me save that, reload it. Okay, so it's all starting to come into play. Now we're going to talk to these first letters here. We're going to do that first letter trick and make those the same color as this right here and about the same size, just to kind of highlight each line of the text. So I'm going to go back, and right below here we're going to say, again, there's a box, and inside of it there's a P tag, and again we want to do the first dash letter. Oop. Okay, so we're gonna font size of 1.5 EM. Line height. Now the line height is the height between the space between each line, and we're only doing 0.3 EM. You can mess around with that number just to see what it does if you want. And then the color, I think, is going to be the same as the other one. So it's, for me, it's 975683 with a semicolon. And then again, if we save it, which I did, and refresh it, it comes into play a little bit. Now I can move this back a little bit and center it. So the next thing we're going to do is deal with the footer. Now the footer is just going to be this colorful thing. So we have a div down there. We gave it an ID name called footer, and we're going to talk to the footer. And again, we're going to make it a width of 100% all the way across our page, which is actually only 85% of the page because we made the body width 85%. We're going to give it a background color and number sign, and then 975683. And then a height, we're going to give it a specific height of 100 px, just so you can see it. And then here's the biggest one. For a footer, because we want it at the bottom, we're going to say clear colon both, and that's the trick to make sure the footer is always at the bottom. So, just wanted to make sure that I closed off this open curly bracket. All right, so save it, check it, and there it is right there. All right, now you can move in. Right now, I think we talked to the paragraph tag, and we did a margin left. If we go back and move that number down, let's move it down 20 pixels to 15. Let me see, and then I'm going to reload it. So we might even not need any. Let me get rid of that margin left idea. Okay, because we say text align center, which is kind of weird while we're moving it. There. Okay. So we moved it text dash align center, so we didn't really need the margin left, which moves it to the right a little bit. Okay? Anyways, there you go. Thanks, guys.